In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you exactly how much I made my very first 30 days in print on demand. Now, I've always been super interested in these kind of videos, everything from like how much I made my first month on YouTube to finance gurus talking about how much they make on a monthly basis for different things like rental properties or businesses. But I haven't really seen a lot of people doing a how much I made my first month as a print on demand seller. So I wanted to give you guys the real numbers here and reveal exactly how much I made those first 30 days and what is realistic for a new seller. Now, when I first got started, I was very excited. I had consumed a ton of content about print on demand. I knew all of the ins and outs, but I really didn't know what to realistically expect for making in that first month. Now, there are a lot of people sharing about how much they're making months down the road, how much you can expect to make when you're a more established print on demand seller, but I honestly wouldn't have been surprised if I only made like $5, $10 in that first month, which, spoiler alert, that is not how much I made, but I really just had no idea what this could look like. Now, to give you a little bit of context about what the beginning of my print on demand journey looked like, it was 2020, and like many other people, I found myself with a little bit more time at home, and I wanted to make some extra income on the side and just find a way to kind of use a lot of the creativity that I have and just have something to do in those extra hours home when we couldn't go out and see a lot of people. So I saw print on demand on YouTube, and I thought this really was a business model that I could actually see myself sticking with and end up having a lot of fun with. So I kind of dove all in those first 30 days. Now, when I first got started, I actually wasn't on all of the platforms that I'm on today. Initially, there were just 3 different places that I had planned to sell on and where I got started. And the first one was Redbubble. Many of you guys are still familiar with Redbubble. It's still one of the biggest print on demand platforms out there. So I right away created an account on Redbubble so I could get started as a print on demand seller there. And the second place that I wanted to get started on was Teespring. Now, Teespring still exists out there. It now goes by the name Spring. And back when I first got started, this was still a pretty good place to sell print on demand products on. They since have made a lot of changes to their platform. It's more geared towards people who maybe already have an existing audience. But back in the day, without even having a lot of direct traffic, you could actually make pretty good money selling on Teespring. So that is the second place that I got started on. Now, the third place that I knew I wanted to be a seller on because I had heard so much success from other people was on Amazon merch. Now, unlike these other 2 platforms where you could just sign up and get started selling pretty much that same day, Amazon merch was someplace that you had to apply to the program and get accepted to. Now, I have an entire other video about how I actually got accepted. So I actually was accepted to Amazon merch toward the very end of those first 30 days, and you'll see that reflected in the income that I was able to make in that first month. Now, today, more than 5 years down the road, my 2 biggest platforms are definitely Etsy and Amazon merch, but you'll see even not getting started on those, the income I was able to make in that first month. So starting anywhere, you still have a chance to actually make sales. So don't be discouraged if you haven't gotten accepted to merch yet. It's still possible to have a really growing and thriving business. Now, at the time on Teespring, anyone could sell on there, but you needed to do something that was called like validating your shop to be able to have your designs shown in the wider marketplace, meaning that anyone who searched up something like a funny Father's Day shirt could stumble across your listings and purchase those. So what that meant is I had to bring 10 of my own sales to the platform. Now, because I was so new, I didn't want to spend a ton of money investing in this business right up front, so I wasn't about to just purchase 10 of my own designs so that my listings could be shown in the wider marketplace, and I didn't want to kind of just bug my friends and family to buy designs from me. So I knew there had to be another way for me to get traffic to actually purchase through my direct link, making me able to sell on the wider marketplace. So I came up with a whole new strategy that actually helped me not only make those first 10 sales, but eventually even get out of tier 10 on Amazon merch. Now, even though I didn't want to spend money buying my own products at first, there were 2 tools that I knew I had to invest in to be able to make this business work for me. Now, they are both things that I still use to this very day, and I pretty much had them since day one. The first one is going to be Merch Informer. Now, this is a print-on-demand research tool that kind of uses all of the data from Amazon merch sales to show you what are really popular niches right now, what is selling well every day, every month, items that have since taken off in sales, niches that have low competition but a lot of demand for them. So this research tool is something that I got pretty much from the get-go, and even though I wasn't accepted to Amazon merch first, I knew that I could use this kind of research to put designs on other platforms. And then the second tool that I initially invested in was Placeit. Now, what I liked about Placeit is they not only had some design features, but they had a bunch of mockup features, which is what I eventually used to actually make those first 10 sales, which I'll tell you about in just a second. So my initial investment in my print-on-demand business for the month was somewhere around $20 for both of those subscriptions. I was using a free design platform. Now I pay for and love Kittl as my design suite, and I know a lot of you guys do too, but you really just need something simple to get started. Although I think I could have made even more designs if I had started with something with a little bit more resources. So my initial goal for my earnings that month was just to basically cover the cost of my expenses. So I wanted to make $20. This could be anywhere from like 2 to 5 sales. So if I had made that, I would have been perfectly happy with just that amount. And that's what I tell you guys all the time. Sometimes investing in a tool helps you just make a couple extra sales, which then pays for itself. So you're not out the money of the tool actually, because it is bringing more sales into your business. Now back to the strategy for how I made those first 10 sales on Teespring. So basically what I did is I set up an Instagram account all about one particular niche that I was going to be selling t-shirts of. So this was for a very specific demographic. It wasn't something broad, just like funny cat t-shirts or like yoga t-shirts. It was a little bit more specific and something I knew that people were very passionate about. So I created a completely new Instagram account, and I had the link in the bio directly go over to my Teespring shop where people could purchase the items. And then every single day when I would create my designs, I would make a mock-up of them on Placeit, and then I would post it as a new Instagram post using a bunch of relevant hashtags to that niche. And that actually started bringing in some direct traffic to my site. Now, those first 30 days, I was very ambitious with the number of new designs and listings I wanted to get out every single day. So every single day, I set out to find 10 really great niches for t-shirts, and then I would make 10 completely unique designs and get those uploaded both to Teespring and Redbubble, because this is still before I had my Amazon account. And then if I did get a sale, either directly from a link or just organically, I took note of what that niche was, what kind of product it was, and I would make more and more of that exact kind of thing. So if I had a t-shirt with a funny phrase sell well, I would do more of that exact phrase, maybe in a different color t-shirt with a different kind of font, or I would just take that generally same niche and I would put a little bit of a new twist on it. So anytime I got validation that something was working, I would just do more and more of it, which is still a fabulous strategy for print on demand. Now, as we were getting close to the end of the 30 days on the platform, I had built up my designs and products to almost 200 to 300 different designs. And I was posting all of these both on Teespring and Redbubble. And all of the initial sales that I got were on my Teespring from my Instagram that I had created specifically for that. Now, after a week or so, I remember I reached that initial threshold on Teespring of making those first 10 sales. So now my designs were being shown to the wider marketplace, and I was starting to get more organic traffic and organic sales. And then 2 days before the end of the month, I actually got my email that I was accepted into the Amazon merch program. And now I was so excited because I knew there was so much potential to make money in sales on this platform. And at the time, if you were in tier 10 on Amazon merch, you could only upload one design a day, and you could only have up to 10 products in total. So you couldn't put one design on all of the different product types. You were just limited to, if you wanted to do 10 different designs, you could just have 10 t-shirts, and that was it. So I knew I had to be very strategic on what items I put first to help myself get out of tier 10. Now, because that Instagram strategy and that niche that I had figured out had worked really well for my Teespring sales, what I did is I went ahead and I just took that Instagram account and I changed out the link to buy my items on Teespring to my Amazon account, and I would link directly to these shirts in my shop, and I used the information about the sales that I had made on Teespring and Redbubble to choose which items I would sell first. So any item that had got more than one sale, whichever had got the most, is the item that I uploaded first on my Amazon Amazon account, and then the next day I uploaded something else. So I really only had 2 days on Amazon to make any sales at all, which is not a lot of time. So now let's get to the part of the video that you guys are really here for, and I'm going to share the exact numbers of what I made on each platform. So on Teespring that first month, I actually made $119.22. Now, about 50% of that was traffic that I had brought directly from that Amazon account. So people I had found that had found my link and bought shirts that way. But what I was shocked by is about the other 50% was just people who had organically found me through the marketplace just from me using good SEO and researching really good niches on a place like Merchant Forward that people were actually looking for, and there wasn't a ton of out there. So I was thrilled just with that. But because I had been posting every single design from Teespring also on Redbubble on the same time, there were a few products that actually ended up taking off on Redbubble as well. Some of them were in the same niches as the ones that were selling well on Teespring, but there were a couple others that really just took a life of their own on Redbubble. And so that first month on Redbubble, I made $113.32 organically. I never posted my Redbubble link anywhere. I never told family and friends about this shop. This was all just people finding me through the marketplace, buying things like t-shirts and stickers and tote bags and all the products that they have on Redbubble. So that I was so excited about. Now, even though I was only on Amazon merch for 2 days, this is going to show you how powerful of a platform this is and how much money making potential there is. In those first 2 days, because I posted 2 really strong designs that I knew were going to get sales, I actually sold 2 different items for $14.99. Now, with how the Amazon royalties work, that means I only took home about $2.90 of profit. I was pricing my items really low at the time. If I did it again, I probably would price them much higher, and that's what I suggest you guys do. But it was a strategy I was trying at the time, so I just made a few dollars there. But more importantly, I got 2 of my first 10 sales, which is super important to be able to tier up in your Amazon account. So the grand total of what I actually made in those first 30 days was $235.44. Now, for my first month, I was thrilled with this. And if you remember, I said that by the first 30 days, I had somewhere between 200 and 300 listings posted. Now, what I have found in print on demand is that typically for every listing that you have made, on average, altogether, you can expect to make between like 50 cents and $1 per listing. So that doesn't mean that if you have 10 listings in your shop, you're going to automatically make $10. But when you have enough volume, the sales seem to even out to make about that range. So since I had between 200 and 300 listings up, making more than $200 that first month was very good and a very reasonable expectation to make. Now, that's definitely not life-changing money yet, but I was thrilled with an extra $200, and it just validated to me that this business model did work and it was something I could do long term. And I just started thinking about the exponential growth opportunity that if I made $200 this month and then I added $200 to that the next month, I'd be making $400. If I added 200 more, the next month I would be making $600, and on like that. And that really is how my print on demand business has grown. It's never really jumped from like $200 this month to $5,000 the next month, but exponentially every single month, I just add a little bit more and a little bit more. And over the years, it really adds up to a big amount of income that I'm bringing in every single month from some of these designs that have been posted for years now. So definitely not a get rich quick scheme, but it is very doable to not only cover your expenses in that first month, but actually have some money to bring home in your pocket. Now, if I was to do it differently today, the biggest change that I would for sure be making, that I know I could probably even double the amount of money I was taking home that first month to somewhere more like $400 or $500, is I would immediately get started selling on Etsy as well. Now, I was really intimidated by selling on Etsy. It just seemed like there were a lot more steps to it. I was nervous about having to fulfill my own orders with a manufacturing partner. I was nervous about having to answer customer service questions, and these other platforms platforms that kind of did everything all in one and held your hand. You just posted the listing and they took care of all the manufacturing and customer service, yada, yada, yada. They did that, but there is so much money to be made on Etsy. It's now alongside Amazon, one of my biggest platforms that I sell on, but it doesn't have all the constraints of Amazon. So while I could only post 10 designs at the beginning of my Amazon journey, if I had got started posting 200 to 300 listings on Etsy that first month, the results would have been astronomical. But I didn't really know how to even integrate my Etsy shop with a good manufacturing partner. So if you are just getting started, do not be like me. Don't wait to actually start on Etsy. It is probably the easiest way to make print on demand money fast. Now, like I said, you're probably not going to be making thousands of dollars that first month, but definitely in the hundreds of dollars range is very doable. So when I eventually got started selling on Etsy, I created my Etsy account and I linked it with the manufacturing partner Printify, which does make the process a ton more hands off because they are taking care of all the printing, the packaging, the transportation, sending the items to your actual customer, and they take care of any problems if they ever occur. So really all you are doing is making the listings and then taking care of customer service if you ever have anything like that. But if I could do it again, that was really my biggest mistake, is not getting started on Etsy because I was too nervous about how that would look. And I definitely left a lot of money on the table for way too long. I hate to admit how long it took me to eventually move over onto Etsy. So definitely do not be like me. Get started on them way faster. I actually have a link where you can make a completely free Printify account. And this video here is going to walk you through exactly how to link that with your Etsy shop. It's a very simple process. And especially if you're waiting to get accepted to someplace like Amazon merch, this is really the best platform to be on in the meantime. Now, if you're just getting started and feeling discouraged, you only have a few listings up, do not give up. Try to get to that 200, 300 listing mark, and you can definitely expect to start making some sales and some income. And it's just going to grow every single month from there. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you in my next video.